If you grew up in the 1950s, seeing Santa wasn't something you did at a mall. For one simple reason, there were no malls yet. Seeing Santa meant a trip downtown, to the grand department store. It was there, amidst the hustle and bustle, that Santa had set up his throne, his workshop, his very own slice of the North Pole, and it was an event. A pilgrimage, something you looked forward to for weeks, something that required planning, preparation, and a whole lot of patience, because everyone wanted to see Santa. The lines were long. The wait was real, but it was worth it. Absolutely, positively worth it. The visit would be planned meticulously, usually for a Saturday, the big shopping day. You'd pile into the car with your parents, maybe your brothers and sisters, and head downtown. You'd be dressed in your Sunday best, because this wasn't just any outing. You were going to see Santa Claus himself, and you wanted to look your best. You wanted Santa to see that you were a good child, well-behaved, responsible, and most importantly, deserving of gifts. The department store would be completely transformed for Christmas. Tinsel and ornaments glimmered everywhere. But the Santa display was the true centerpiece, the main attraction. It was usually on a specific floor, often right in the heart of the toy department. You'd spot the first signs from the escalator, hand-painted arrows pointing the way. Santa's workshop this way. The anticipation would build with every step. And then, you would see it, the North Pole, recreated right there in a department store. To your young eyes, it was real, or at least, real enough. Fake snow, made of sparkling cotton batting, was spread across the floor and every available surface, white and magical. Giant, red and white striped candy cane poles stood like sentinels. A forest of small, decorated Christmas trees created a festive maze. You'd see a workshop set up, with tables covered in half-finished toys, little hammers, and saws. Everything an elf would need, and the elves themselves. They were just store employees, of course. But to you, they were real, dressed in green or red costumes with pointy hats and shoes, bells jingling on their collars as they moved. They would wave and smile, helping to keep the line moving and the magic alive. And there, in the center of it all, was the throne, Santa's chair. Big, ornate, usually red velvet or shimmering gold. It was always elevated, so Santa sat higher than everyone else. You could see him from way back in the line, which only made the anticipation grow stronger. Santa himself was a sight to behold, an adult, of course, but one who embodied the spirit of Christmas in his red velvet suit with its fluffy white fur trim, his wide black belt, and shiny black boots. Some Santas had real beards white, long, and flowing. These were the best Santas, the most convincing ones. Others had fake beards made of cotton or synthetic hair, attached with an elastic strap that was sometimes visible. But as a child, you wanted so badly to believe, and so, you did. The line would be long, especially on weekends and as Christmas drew closer. It snaked through the aisles of the store, a long procession of parents and children. Some kids waited patiently, others fidgeted and whined. How much longer? When is it our turn? Parents did their best to distract, entertain, and keep the peace. But the line always moved, slowly and steadily. Each family got their moment, their special time with Santa. There was no rushing. Each child was important. As you waited, you would watch the other children go up. You'd see them sit on Santa's lap and talk to him. Some were confident, marching right up to the throne. Others were shy, clinging to a parent's hand, a little scared of this big man in red. And of course, some children would cry. A few were terrified, letting out a wail as their parents tried to coax them forward. Sometimes, a parent would just carry them to Santa anyway, holding them there just long enough for the photo to be taken, the child's face red and streaked with tears. It was a photo that would surely become a funny family story later on. Then, finally, it was your turn. An elf would gesture, a friendly smile on their face. Next, you would step forward, your little legs carrying you toward the big red throne. Your heart would be pounding in your chest. This was it, the moment you'd been waiting for. Santa would smile, a big, warm, genuine smile. Ho ho ho, his voice would boom, deep and jolly, exactly how Santa was supposed to sound. Come here, what is your name? You tell him, maybe shyly whispering it, or be shouting it out boldly. Santa would repeat it, making you feel seen. Well, hello there, have you been a good boy this year? You'd nod your head enthusiastically. Yes, of course, you had. That's wonderful to hear, he'd say. Now tell me, what would you like for Christmas? And this was the question, the one you had been rehearsing for weeks. You'd pour out your heart, telling him about the toy you wanted most in the whole world. The doll, the train set, the shiny new bicycle you'd circled a dozen times in the Sears catalog. Santa would listen intently, nodding his head. I will see what I can do, he'd promise. You just keep being good. Then, the photographer would step in, another store employee with a big camera and a bright flashbulb. A bright flash would pop, capturing the moment forever. Your time with Santa was almost over, but not before he handed you a small gift, usually a candy cane or a tiny toy. Merry Christmas, he'd say with one last, jolly smile. Do you remember seeing Santa at the department store in the 1950s? What store did you go to? What did you ask Santa for? Were you one of the brave kids? Or did you cry? Share your Santa memories with us in the comments below. After your visit, your parents would collect a little paper receipt for the photo. You might have to come back in a few days to pick up the actual print, or sometimes it would be mailed to your house. When it finally arrived, usually in a little cardboard frame, it was like reliving the magic all over again. The photo might be in black and white, or may be color if your parents paid a little extra. You would stare at it, seeing yourself perched on Santa's lap, and remember the excitement, the feeling, the absolute magic of it all. That photo would find a home on the mantelpiece or in the family album, a precious keepsake. Years later, decades later, you would look at it and smile, the memories flooding back. You'd show it to your own children, and then your grandchildren. Look, you'd say, this is me with Santa. For many families, this became a cherished tradition. They'd go every single year, collecting an annual photo with Santa, a visual chronicle of childhood. You could see the years pass, the Christmas requests changing, the confidence growing. Eventually, older kids might not really believe anymore, but they'd go along anyway for the photo, for the tradition, for the family. The magic of seeing Santa at the department store was powerful. It was tangible. You didn't just hear stories about Santa Claus. You saw him, you could almost touch him. You sat on his lap and spoke to him. He was real, right there, listening to your deepest Christmas wishes. It made your belief in him stronger than any story ever could. This was proof. You had met Santa, he knew your name, and he knew what you wanted for Christmas. The department stores understood this power. They invested heavily in these elaborate displays and hired the best Santas they could find. They made the experience magical because, yes, it brought shoppers into the store, but also because it was a tradition. It was part of what the store did for the community, a part of their Christmas service. If this brought back memories of waiting in that long line, sitting on Santa's lap, and whispering your Christmas wishes into his ear, give this video a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe to Elves. We're dedicated to preserving the magic, the traditions, and the experiences that made childhood Christmases so unforgettable. Because yesterday never truly disappeared. It just put on a red suit, sat on a golden throne, and listened to children's dreams. And for those few magical minutes, anything felt possible, and magic was real.